introduction to the seminar. So at the university, we, of course, teaching and learning is the heart of the university, right? Actually, other than that, research as well. Research is also the heart of the university, equal to the teaching and learning. So why do we do research? Because this is the avenue in which we generate knowledge, right? Especially in the context of Global South. Global South meaning Southeast Asian context like us. So I think many of us here are from Department of English Language and Literature, and you know that what we study at the department, plenty of it are heavily Western-centric. So how do we change that? That's from research. So because of that, we organize this as an initiative to decolonize and to reframe our point of view and to generate, hopefully, to motivate us to generate knowledge that will benefit us, okay, in the context, not so much reliance on what the Western ideologies, Western point of view. So today, I'm very happy and honored to have Associate Professor Dr. Saheed Abdullahi Busari with us, my very good friend. So Associate Professor Dr. Saheed is from, just a brief biodata. If I have to explain about his achievement, that would be 3 hours, right? So he is from the Department of Fiqh and Usul at this kuliah, Haskar KHS. He brings a wonderful background connecting Islamic jurisprudence with modern and real-world contemporary issues. All right. So this is from the IOK, Islamization of knowledge term, that would be relevantization. All right. Okay. So his approach, from what I've heard from his amazing lectures before, is very multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, practical, and of course very much grounded in Islamic knowledge, which is the fresh thinking that we all need at this university, right? Okay, so I don't want to take up much of your time because it's not about me, it's about Prof. We want to learn from Dr. Saheed. So without further delay, Dr. Saheed, I invite you, pass you the floor, not just the floor, the entire floor to you now. All right? So do you want to make this please, or you just prefer to just stay? All right. Okay, so to Dr. Saheed. Okay, so can we give him a round of applause?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا. اللهم زدنا علما، اللهم زدنا حكمة والصحة والسلامة. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. My dear respected lecturers, students, colleagues, friends, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm sorry a bit late because of the venue. I had a wrong assumption. I never knew we have big and beautiful hall like this around this area. I thought everything is in hierarchy. So I just went to ADM LT4 and I noticed no. Went back to HS, no. Then I was saying, where is this hall? Until I saw the picture and I saw the staircase to the masjid. I said, no, I know this. So I have to go down, go up, but it was a good exercise for me. So I'm sorry if I'm a bit nervous. It's because I've done an exercise that I never prepared for. I would like this discussion or talk or presentation to be very friendly. Me myself, I find it a bit challenging making my presentation because before now, I've been talking to postgraduate students about research. But I got a hint because I've been teaching students undergraduate as well, especially some of the undergraduate students that have been taking my course in Introduction to Usul al-Fiqh from HS. So I got to see their perspective, I got to see the way they think, I got to see what they need, and I can see a couple of faces around some of my students. So I'm happy you came, so because it's going to make it easier for you. One of my strong areas is research. It's not because you are very strong in it, it's because you love it. Whatever you love most, that becomes your strong area, no matter how your weaknesses is. And why I love research is because in research, you can discover new knowledge. In research, you can contribute to the society, and in research, you can contribute to the discourse. And in research is one of the things that make you to grow. So for some of us that are interested in teaching, you want to be a lecturer like me, a teacher, I see myself as a teacher actually. I don't like to call myself as a lecturer, just a teacher. A teacher is somebody that teaches, and the more you teach, the better you become. خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. So when you teach Quran, you get better. That is why the Prophet ﷺ said the best of you is that we teaches. But we have realized in the higher institution that the bulk of teaching is as a result of knowledge that are available. So if knowledge are not being advanced, then the matter will be stopped. Just try to have a kind of perception. 50 years before now, there is no IIUM. Some leaders, Muslims, they came together and felt that we need to have IIUM for the coming generation. So it was a thinking, it was a research, it was an idea. They had the idea, they promoted it, they researched it, and they brought it into being. And today, thousands of people are benefiting. So that is the essence of research. Muslims are in need of this. Enough of old narratives of the West. We can do it because we did it before them. We can combine. We can have universities where there are masjid. We can have universities where there are lecturers that use hijab, students that use niqab, and they are not being harassed. We can have a university whereby there are campuses with different mahalla, unlike some schools. The boy and the girl can be in the same room. He doesn't care. So we have all this holistic. But how does it come? It came as a result of the research, the effort of some people to add to the discourse. So this is why research is so important. That in whatever we do, when you take away research, it's like recycling what you had before. But in research, you are advancing the course. So today, we'll be looking at a very important element of research, and that is proposal. And the proposal tells us where you are going. It tells us the feasibility of your work. It gives us a background of the idea, and we can test that whether it is deliverable or not feasible. A proposal is like a plan. It's like an intention. It's like a way to go. It's not like a young brother that went to daddy. I want to make it very friendly. Because my major role here today, as I assume, is I want us to love research more. Research topic, research title, research methodology, research. You can't finish everything in a day. But by the time you love it, you like it, then it becomes easier. There are many things you can do on your own. So if a brother goes to daddy, I want to get married. A very funny topic. No, daddy, I want to get married. There's a very important question daddy will ask you. How? Because daddy is still paying your bill. Daddy is still paying for your mahalla. Daddy is still giving you money, stipends every day. So daddy will ask you why. Daddy knows the implication of what you have said. A small brother may not know the implication. He had a lecture in my class. The Prophet said, Ya ma'ashara shabab, if you are holding on, go and get married, then he wants to marry. Then he will ask you how. How is your proposal? So if you are a kind of person that says, daddy, for the past 2 years you've been giving me money, I usually save 50 ringgit every month. And after 1 year, I think I bought a car, a new brand car. Now somebody is using it to do Grab for me. Before 1 year, I should buy my own condo. Oh, maybe next week we can talk about it. Why is that interesting in talking about your marriage now? Because you have a reasonable proposal. Your plan to go for marriage is deliverable. But for the fact that you want to impose or make life challenging for daddy that is paying your school fees and bringing another sister again, daddy would prefer, look, it is not feasible. Complete your study and let's talk about it again. So this takes me to our proposal discussion today. How to craft excellent proposal. There are two main reasons why we do proposal. Now, going away from marriage, let's go to academics. In academics, two main reasons why we craft proposal. But that's because of your supervisor. The supervisor is attached to your department, your university. So your university, you are asked to maybe, you need to produce FYP, Masters, PhD. So it's a requirement. So somebody is attached to you as a master, as a supervisor. He will guide you. You need a proposal. So if your proposal is not clear enough, it's not convincing, then you need to write and rewrite. The second reason why we write proposal is because we want to appeal to a funder. So a proposal must be convincing, must be winning. So when your supervisor reads, oh, this is very good, go ahead. When your funder reads, this is very good. So today, universities across the globe, they put a lot of preference to research, because with research, you can bring in money. You can fund students, and you can make the life of academics to keep going. So gone is those days, a lecturer wants to focus only on teaching. No, you're not going to survive. Lecturers that can survive in academics today are lecturers that can do research. Because by research, you have to do knowledge. By research, you can bring in funding. So now we want our students to learn to love. And also in industry, when the industry sees you to be research-oriented, capable, they put you in a strategic position whereby you can help the industry to unravel in making decisions. So there is a lot of benefit in liking and loving and try to be part of research. So today, I think I have an idea. So since it works, then let me just come this way. Okay. We have steps for crafting excellent research. Generally, there will be a kind of relevancy. Your work must be relevant. If you are in language and literature, it must be relevant to the contemporary situation. You're talking about your context. It is the context of which you are doing your research. You are not doing something about Akhira, you are not doing something about the space, about the moon, about the world that we live in. Your approach also needs to be discussed. That is the methodology. If I'm going to Johor, then it's either by air or by land or by sea. So if beside Johor there is no sea, then you can't go by sea. So this is your approach of doing what you need to do. Feasibility, can you deliver? I need to build a masjid in the space. Then you must be an astronaut. So if you are not an astronaut, this idea of a research is not feasible. How can you go there? Talk less of now building a masjid in the space. So all these are things that you need to put together. It might be an interesting topic, but as far as we are concerned, we cannot deliver. It's not feasible. So all these, we shall be looking at them one after the other. So in a proposal, basically, there are a few elements we normally talk about. We talk about the research, the title page. The title page must be very convincing, attractive enough, and relevant to the study we are talking about. We also talk about the research background. The research background, depending on the requirement that is given to you, the department can cover your introduction, your objective, your questions, your research problem. So background is everything, the background of the work. the introduction of the work. So, introduction, research objective, research problem, research questions, all these are part of the research background. The background of the discussion, the background of the problem. So when you are talking about introduction, you are introducing the topic to a reader. So your first statement or sentence in the topic must be explained. In the introduction, explain in the first sentence, the topic. Because a reader is like, I want to know this topic more. International Islamic University is an holistic environment, defined. That is the first thing I want to see in the introduction. So your introduction, then your research objective, your research questions, your statement of problem. Statement of problem is so important. Why am I saying here more? Statement of problem and literature review. This is my most interesting area. Statement of problem, literature review, because they are the same. And they must reflect your title page. What is the problem? If there is no problem, there is no research. You are trying to solve a problem. You are trying to add to the space of discussion. You are trying to create new knowledge. You are trying to solve a particular problem. You are trying to convince a founder that this problem is existing, I want to solve this problem. So statement of problem must be real, must be original, must exist. Today, there are many assumptions among students. I've seen a lot of students that felt that, why are we using hijab? Why am I not like brothers? I can wear cap, I can put up the cap. Why? I actually came to UIA because of my mom. I don't like using this. Oh, that's a problem. It's likely the parent have taught her, she refused. She doesn't understand. Or they never taught her. How do we solve that kind of problem of misunderstanding of the religion? It's a problem. The problem must be real. The problem must be existing. Today in UIA, we know there are some sisters using hijab just because of UIA. It's not actually because of Islam, but because they are here, over time, they get to know. So you want to see, what is that problem of misunderstanding? So that is, a problem must be real. It must not be an imagination. That an angel came to UIA last night is not real. You cannot show an evidence that suggests the problem. So that is why in research problem, statement problem, there must be a literature review that will emphasize the existence of that problem. Sometimes you look at journals, books, online, YouTube, Facebook. The most important thing is it is not coming from you. We have a difference between research problem and researcher's problem. So any problem you mention in your research statement without a reference is a researcher's problem. That is your problem. I assume that angel came to UIA yesterday. No reference, no evidence. But if I can see in one of the news in UIA that there are police all around because one angel came as a visitor, that news is a reference. And that is a problem because the number of people in UIA cannot be consumed. Everybody wants to visit the angel. So it's a problem. We need to do a research. Do we expand the classes? Do we expand the mahalla? Because they said UIA now, Angel Jibril is visiting them. So it's a problem. You need to do a research. How do we expand UIA? Because most students want to come in. There's an evidence that Jibril is coming. So you need to give us a statement, evidence that suggests or that emphasizes the existence of that problem. So statement of problem are things that you want to talk about. That is real, that exists. The knowledge you want to have, a theory you want to emphasize, a theory you want to confirm, or you want to create a new theory. Whatever be the problem, this is in methodology, I don't want to go too far. You need a reference to suggest that the problem is real. And where do you do? In literature review. So in my literature review, I remember when I was doing my PhD, when I choose my topic, and I went to the chairman of my supervisory team, one of the professors. So immediately he saw my topic, he said, no, a lot has been written about it. Go and take another topic. Because of his experience and exposure. Me as a researcher, I left the Prof's office just when in UIA. I left his office and I went back. And immediately, after 3 days, I came back with 15 articles that is discussing the topic, very new, that there is a need for research for Sharia scholars to address this particular problem. It has not been addressed. So immediately you saw those articles and say, yes, you are right. Now you can go ahead. So, a professor doesn't mean he knows all. There are a lot of discourse going on today. If there are no discussion about there is need to address, then I brought all these evidences together that there is need for Sharia scholars to address this particular problem in the market. And that was the end of our discussion, and it was approved. So immediately my proposal was approved, I just received an email from Bank Negara that they are interested in my research, and they gave me a scholarship. So my PhD was a scholarship from Bank Negara, and I was the only PhD student, and with like other 3 master students. So I never knew, they never knew me. I was nobody from Africa, and the whole Bank Negara said we're interested in your research because it's going to contribute to their advancement. Sharia scholars have not discussed this, and we want somebody. We hope you can do it. And that was the end. So with that, I was able to travel to Nigeria like 2-3 times a year. A lot of money in scholarship. So there is a benefit, a lot of benefit in research. So from there, I became interested. Because when you are getting money from something, at night I don't sleep in Mahalla. Thousands of ringgit. So there is a payoff in research. Even at present, I have a lot of grants, and I give a lot of students salary. So students just run after me a lot. Postgraduate students. They bring their friend. Ustaz, do you still have extra? I say, I don't have extra. So it makes you to be active. So loving research is very good, and you can start small. So statement of problem and literature review are together. They are twin. They must be together. So immediately, the statement of problem does not have a backing literature review. It is a researcher problem, and it will not be approved. So this is your problem. It's not a research problem. Okay? So, having talked about the general section, I think I have like maybe 30 minutes more. I want to make it very brief before exactly what I want to do today. Okay, the mic. So I have, the first thing you need to do generally is there's need for a clear, relevant topic. So I want to start again everything, then go through it. At the end of this section, I want to do a hands-on. I don't know if Dr. Ruby will permit me. I don't like, my student knows that I don't like my class to be like a television. So I'm the only one talking. So it's just like I'm a television. So I like my students to also participate, to give you feedback. So there will be a kind of few hands-on at the end of the slide, whereby we want us to, some students to participate, to take some topic, and give some feedback on what needs to be done. So choose a clear and relevant topic. That is very, very important, especially from your space of work. Look at your area of specialization and choose a topic. You can choose a topic by looking at past studies, online, past literatures, articles, books. You can choose a topic by listening to your lecturers. That's one of the essence of going to classes and taking attendance. Lecturers are researchers. So in most cases, they give examples on problems. So my students in my class, if you have been coming in my class, one beautiful thing is that in every class there is a story. In all my classes, they know I bring stories. Those stories are running around problems. There must be a problem. So you must be ready to look at what they are saying. Whatever lecturers are saying, there are problems around those areas, especially if it's a topic is teaching you. And articles, journals, these are ways you can get a clear-cut So make it focus on specific problem or gap in the field. Area of decolonization, area of hatred of the Muslims, linguistic, literature. There are a lot of things you can do. So we'll talk about them more. So also conduct a thorough literature review. Your literature review will confirm your topic. Some people have done this, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Literature review will tell you what is the gap, and that gap is mentioned in your research statement of problem. Research gap is your problem. It is the problem of your research. It's a gap. A gap is what you are having in terms of new knowledge, in terms of solving a problem, in terms of confirming the theory, or creating a framework. Whatever you want to do that is new in that research is called your gap. So here, literature review is the only way. So there are many ways of doing literature review. There are systematic review, there are preliminary review, there are a lot of review methods. So reviewing literature, there are review matrix that can help you. Matrix, where you just see a kind of timetable to make it easier. Look at the author, look at the objective, look at the methodology, look at the gap, look at the findings, and bring them together. Synchronize them and come up with something that is new, that has not been done, or it has been done but in a particular way. You want to look at another way. It has been done exactly, but in a space of UK. I want to see a space of Malaysia. The role of literature in children's upbringing in UK, the role of literature in children's upbringing in Malaysia. Malaysia is the new thing. So it's only when you look at literatures, past studies, that you can see somebody has done the role of literature in child training or language speaking or whatever. In UK, then you in Malaysia. That Malaysia is just the new thing you're adding to it. So how do you know? It's because you have done a literature review. So literature review is very, very important. And in literature review, you must read and write. Read and write. Read and write. One of the things that helps the researcher is that a student came to me, a postgraduate, said, "Oh, Ustaz, I don't know how to write. I read in the library. For a whole day, I don't know." I said, the problem is that you just continue reading. Me, I don't continue reading. I read small, I write. I read small, I write. So you type it down, make a point. What have I said now? What does it suggest to me? Everything you read, put it down. Then later on you can review. So by the time you keep reading so much, today we have a lot of AI tools that will be very useful for you in literature. Before, funders want to run away from AI. Now we cannot. Everybody is using AI. Everybody is using AI. The most important thing is that ethically, how do you use it? Even as a researcher, you have to know how to use that. So literature review is very important. And also after that, conduct a thorough review, analyze the past research, identify where your work fits. Mine, I'm adding Malaysia. Mine, I'm adding women. Mine, I'm adding from Islamic perspective. You must be adding something to what has been done. Your research cannot be new such that there is no literature review. It's not possible. It's not feasible. I'm bringing in a new idea. Nobody has written about it. No. A part of it must have been done, but you are adding another part to it, and that is what we call literature review. So define your research problems and objectives. So research problem, as we have mentioned, cannot be defined if you have not done your literature review very well. Review past studies. Literature review does not mean only articles, as I've mentioned. It means news. For example, me, if I'm looking for a new research to be written, to get grants, funds, I go to the news. I go to websites. I keep following the speech of the Prime Minister. What has he said last week, last month? I try to put them together, and I look at what the Prime Minister is emphasizing almost every time. That should be a problem. Any funding is looking after that. That is why whenever you see the Prime Minister speaking, you see all the ministers. They are there. So everybody wants to impress their boss. So this is it for looking for funds. If it's a research that is funded by UIA, look at what the rector is saying And what the deputy rectors are saying, every area their speech is going through, that is the trend of research. You need to impress your funder. At the same time, look at your supervisor. A student came to me and said, Ustaz, I want to get A in my FYP. I told her it's possible, but you need to do something. Say what? You need to show me your work several times. You can get A. Just like the companion that went to Professor Salleh and said, I want to enter Jannah. He said, you help me with a lot of sujood. Huh? When you do a lot of sujood, then I guarantee you enter Jannah. So if you want me to give you A, it is possible. But there is one condition. I have to see your work so much. And she did it. So every week she will bring a progress. Knock at my door. Oh, it's okay. So at the end of the day, I was forced to give her A because she did exactly what I wanted. So you must impress your supervisor for you to get the A. You must impress your funder that it is researchable, then it will be approved. So how can you do that? You need a clear-cut research problem and objective. Clearly state the problem, research questions, and your goal. Develop a theoretical or conceptual framework. Let me just talk about conceptual, not really theoretical, just conceptual now. Because theoretical might bring in a lot of theory, a lot of quantitative. In conceptual, when you have a topic, you need to tell us about the link between those topics. The role of literature in children upbringing in Malaysia. Literature, children, Malaysia. These are the three main elements. What is their relationship? Because language we speak every day in Malay, English, everybody speaks English in many of the offices. We have a lot of children in Malaysia. And as well, also, upbringing. So when you look at these three relationships, you define them differently and you define them together. They have a relationship. That is your concept. The concept, the idea behind the whole work is that we want to see main elements differently and together. So you must be able to develop it if your work requires such. Sometimes it may not require. So develop a theoretical or conceptual framework based on your study of relevant theories or concepts. Also, select an appropriate methodology. This is very important, methodology. We shouldn't be scared, sometimes mixed method, qualitative method, quantitative method. So methodology is another study on its own. And there are a lot of training in campus, you can see a lot of them on YouTube, on methodologies to use. So you have to be clear. Looking at your problem, what is the best method to use? You must know. Sometimes your method might be mixed because of the problem you want to solve. Perception of IIUM student on early marriage. Very interesting. But then, can you solve that problem without talking to students? No. You have to talk to them. So, literature review is not enough. You need to do interview or you do a survey. So, your problem, the problem of the research about to be studied will determine your methodology. So, if I'm going to Terengganu, I know I can go by here, I can go by road. I know, because I've been to Terengganu. So there are places in Malaysia, if you go there, there is no airport. So if you tell us, what is the method of going to that place? My method is by here, cancel. It's a nice research topic, but your methodology is wrong. So you must get your methodology right. Because my friend beside me is doing this, doesn't mean I should do. So you must know which method best suits. And in methodology, there are two main aspects. Of course, the third one. The first one is data collection. The second one is data analysis. How do you get your data literature review? How do you get your data survey? How do you get your data interview? How do you get your data observation? I want to see the attitude of IIUM students when lecturers are speaking in class. Observation can help. Later on, you can compare. the boys are more attentive than the girls. The girls are more attentive than the boys. By observation. So when you observe, you look at them, and you look at what they are saying, you take a picture, you can analyze those pictures. So observation can help. And that is what we have in sociology. Interview can help. Survey can also help. So your problem will design, will help, will indicate what is the best method for you to go for. And this is what we do in research. So if methodology are not important, then a lot of problems will arrive at the end of the tunnel. So here, select appropriate methodology, choose your method, either qualitative, quantitative, mixed method that align with your objective. After the problem, there's an objective. This is what I want to do. What is the problem? The problem is that many students doesn't concentrate in class. So the influence of social media on students in class. When I'm speaking, I see a lot of testing, and I'm speaking and it's also laughing. So I knew that social media is affecting student attention in class. That is the problem. Now I want to see why social media is making students not to concentrate. I want to see. That is my objective. I want to see why. Why is social media making them not to concentrate? I've already established the problem. I've looked at literature. I've looked at YouTube. I've seen a lot of information that said that thing is real. That thing exists. Scholars have suggested that social media is making students not to concentrate. 2 years ago, I was teaching year one student, and I said, everybody, put your mobile on the table. Some students were very, very not happy. They are very sad. And after the class, I said, I'm very sorry for treating you like a secondary school student. But I was also uncomfortable speaking to all my students, and almost everybody is making a text. So that's one of the reasons why I try to bring stories to my class. So lecturers should also be creative, making it not boring. I try to raise my voice in class. Even without a microphone, my voice is always very high. And they ask me why. I said, why? Because I want to be catchy. I don't like to speak and you are sleeping. It's as if I've worked and I've not done what I need to do. I also want to hand my salary and have barakah. So students need to pay attention. So my objective is, I want to see why social media is making students not to concentrate. That is my objective. There is a problem. Student does not concentrate using social media in class. What do you want to do? My objective is, I want to see why. What is the method? Survey, interview, observation. That is the method I want to use to get my data. How do you want to analyze? Thematic analysis, phenomenological analysis, critical analysis, content analysis, using SPSS. All these are ways of analyzing. The third phase, I want to bring out a framework. I want to bring out a model. I want to bring out some suggestions. I want to bring out, so you have collection of data, analyze the data, and creating a solution. 3 ways you need to do your methodology. So once you explain all these, it shows that you have a clear-cut idea of how to move forward in research and to contribute to the space of discussion in research. I'm sorry, make it snappy. How many more minutes? Oh, 11:30 already. I must stop these 11:30, so I do my extra 10 minutes. Yeah. So outline the data collections and analyze the plan. Describe how you gather and interpret the data. I've mentioned that. How to gather the data collection, data analysis, and you want to have a framework, you want to suggest a way out, you want to bring out whatever. So after that, ensure ethical consideration. When you use AI, please paraphrase. And when you use AI, confirm from which source. ChatGPT can lie. We have asked many times, give me reference for this, and you give me one reference. Abdullahi 2022. We look online, there is no Abdullahi 2022. So automatically, it's from nowhere. It's difficult to see people should not use ChatGPT today. They use it. Even in America, in UK, everybody is using it. but it must be ethical. You must confirm. He gives you hadith, go and confirm from Bukhari. He gives you verse of the Quran, please confirm. So respect confidentiality when you do interview, when you do survey. If you tell them that their name is not going to be published, please don't publish it. Consent of the people you got data from, academic integrity. If you have copied from somewhere, from a book, reference that book. If you get it from online, YouTube, give the link. That is academic integrity. Also, prepare a realistic time and budget. It's very, very important. Budget, money, especially if it is by a funder. Funder want to see when do you start, when do you end. 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. So, but for some of us that are doing our FYP, assignment, project, even your lecturer want to see that you can deliver. So when you write a proposal that you cannot deliver within 2 years, and it's FYP, then you cannot graduate. Say, no, please change this topic. So it must be time-based. Plan how you will manage your resources, your time. Okay? And this is the essence of having a proposal. So highlight the significance of your study. How significant, relevant to the space, to academic, to the society, to the economy, to education. You need to highlight it. Who is going to use those things you are trying to do? Ministries, institutions, universities, family, Keluga, Malaysia. So let's know who is going to use these things we are trying to do. To explain how it contributes to knowledge or practice. And also to write a clear, well-structured proposal, follow formal writing standard with logical flow. So I want to just give an example. Then I bring some examples, and I just within 5 minutes I want my students to look at them. So before I come at my example, please look at these examples. I have 9 examples here, and I'm looking forward to students who will be interested in participating. In this 9 example, I just want you to tell us what should be an objective here, and what should be the methodology. Just 2 things. I don't talk about literature review because you need to sit down and do that a lot. Talk about methodology. That we can quickly talk about methodology now. I can use this method to solve this problem. And this is my objective. So for number 1, who takes number 1? Quickly. You take it and you resolve it. So you can snap it quickly. Who takes number 1? Who takes number 1? Okay. Number 1, huh? You're lucky. A lucky one. Nobody in class, the one that is looking at me, I call you. Number 2. Number 3. Okay? Just pick number 3. When you pick now, start thinking about what should be my objective here, and what should be my methodology. But I'll give us a sample of what I'm expecting. Okay? What should be my objective? What should be my methodology? Objective is what you want to do. What is your objective in UIA? To study and get shahada. Sa'ada and shahada. Happiness and certificate. That's what I'm here. So that is your objective. That is the main objective. But how you want to do it? I go to class, I participate, I become active, I go for exam, I don't oversleep. That is your methodology. So I need 2 things. Looking at this topic, what is my objective? And how to do that objective? Number 1. So number 2, huh? Right? Who's number 2? Level and row 2. Okay, you. Okay, I think it's you. Sister, your name? Huh? Yeah? Huh? Irina, number 2. Sister number 1, what? Your name? Aliyah, number 1. Okay, 3. Yeah, me. Huh? Dina, number 3. Okay, this side. Sister, because you are looking at me. Number 4, your name? Yeah, me. Aisha, number 4. Sister? I know. Number 5. Sister. Wasila, number 6. Okay, let me go to brothers. The brother in blue, not looking at me, I'm looking at you. The one is fair. Looking at the back. You. No, this one, first one. The last one is number 6, right? 6, number 6, then number 7. Okay? Okay, the next brother. The one in black. Is my student. You can't escape. Number 8. The person behind you is also my student. Number 9. So quickly, 9, please. I want 2 things from you quickly. So if you like to come to the front with the mic, fine. If you want to stay there, I bring to you. I want the objective. Looking at my topic, what do you want to do to it? I look at the campus, many places are dirty. It's a problem. What do you want to do? How to make UIA clean? That's my objective. How do you want to do it? Hire volunteers. My methodology, because I'm not going to pay volunteers, I'll just pay for them. And I will give you ajuru in Ahmad. So that is my method. That is my objective. And that is my research problem. So let me just go back quickly. Just give you my example quickly. Oh, sorry. Look at my example here. Like for example, when I have a topic, it's not very close to language and literature, to examine the influence of social media on self-identity of adolescents in urban communities. So this can be qualitative. It can be qualitative. And with this, I can collect my data in depth, I can do analysis method, and what's going to be my objective? To assess the impact of family structure on academic achievement among children in low-income households. So all these, I think this is not very clear. Let me go to the next one. Okay, look at this now. This is another objective, to evaluate. It can be to assess. It can be to examine. It can be to explore. So what do you want to do is an objective. It is to evaluate the role of corporate social responsibility in enhancing brand loyalty among millennials. So with this, because you want to evaluate, and you need a lot of people to see how much CSR, social corporate responsibility, has influenced the life of the millennials. So you need a quantitative method. So you need a survey, a questionnaire, and that is quantitative method. And you can use, structural equation modeling to analyze your data. So this is just a very simple way. Also to examine the relationship between leadership style and employee satisfaction. Because the boss is a nice guy, we want to evaluate, we want to examine. Leadership style of the rector and the lecturer, of the dean and the lecturer, of the boss and the leg. How do we examine that? It can be through semi-structured interview. We talk to employee. How do you see your boss? He's a nice guy. He gives us a gift. He makes us happy. Then we interview the boss as well. So this is a method. And the objective is to examine. Because it's about relationship between the two sides. So I just give this as an example of, if you are trying to look for how to structure. For example here, this is an objective here. To understand how social capital, what is social capital? Social capital is things you do to people in your environment, you don't spend money. In UAE, we have social capital. Do you know how many people come from the society to pray in UAE? They love to pray in IIUM, especially the internationals. It's a social capital. You come to UAE, you don't know anybody, somebody says, come. This is Mahalla. This is this. It's a social capital. What people give you in terms of charity, not really money, but you helping hand, information. Okay? So social capital now, to understand how social capital affects community resilience in post-disaster areas, helping people to clean their house, sharing information about the next going to be tsunami or whatever. So it's going to be a mixed method. A survey, and also, you can do interview or you can do observation. Then you can use SPSS to analyze, you can use ethnography, a lot of pictures, then analyze those pictures. When people are helping one another, they're sharing food and whatever. Also to investigate the effect of minimum wage policies on employment rates in small businesses. What is the effect? So in this case, we need a quantitative. Because we want to measure, there is what we call impact factor research. Anywhere you see impact, it must be quantitative. Because you want to measure the impact factor, so you measure before it happens and after it happens. The effect of Ramadan on the religiosity of IIUM students before Ramadan and after Ramadan is an impact factor. So it must be quantitative. So anytime you are measuring the impact factor, before the colonial came to Malaysia, the impact of colonialism on Malaysian leaders. Before the colonial and after the colonial came, you need to compare the two. It's an impact factor, so you need the quantitative. If it is feasible for you to find a data for that. So basically after this, let's go into some of our questions. Number one. Then number two. Because we have some of our professors here, I don't want to take much of their time. Who is ready and on? Number three. Number three. I need, let me just go back. These are your topics. Oh, no. I have to go back. Not yet, thank you, huh? So I need your objective and I need your methodology. Objective is what you want to do. So let me just go to the point. Representation of Muslims in post 9/11. That is a problem, you know. Western fictions. Sometimes you look at some movies, you never be happy. Did you say Islam is like this? As a Muslim, you know it's not right. But they have done those movies to present Islam in such a way after 9/11. So it's a problem. Because Muslims, children are looking at these movies on their phone. I have a big TV in my house. Sometimes 2 months we don't open the TV. Why? Everybody has a mobile. And from the mobile we can watch movies. So me, I'm making a new rules in the house now. Weekends, mommy, my wife, close the mobile. Even me, they have to sit down and watch Al Jazeera together. Al Jazeera is on my mobile. So everybody is now having access. So it's a problem to Muslim children. Now, what is the objective about this problem? What do you want to do to the problem as a researcher? And what method you're going to use? So very straightforward topic. So number 2 is there, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Because of time, anyone that is ready can tell us. If you can take like 3, 4, because of time, then we go. Okay, she's ready.
Mine is number 1, representation of Muslim in post 9/11 Western fiction and film. So my objective is to analyze Muslim character within the Western fiction and film post 9/11. So the methodology that I'll be using is observation, like to pick one or two movies that have Muslim characters in it, and then analyze how they actually represent the Muslim characters. Either the Muslim character actually follows the exact how we Muslim is, or it's actually based on their perception towards Muslims, such as sometimes they actually make the Muslim characters very serious.
You gave us your objective. What is your methodology?
Observation.
Observation is a way of getting the data. How do you analyze the observation?
Sorry?
Because of time, to make it very fast, I think observation is very good, which is ethnography. You observe a lot of movies, you take some snaps, you make some scripts, you now analyze. The analysis can be thematical. Thematical means based on each topic. Those movies that support Islam, those that give against Islam, those that give wrong information, those that give correct information. It's thematic. You can also use phenomenology. Phenomenology is like a tafsiri, a second level assumption. Based on this movie and based on their comment, this is my own comment. A second level comment on whatever they have said. It's just like tafsir. So there are many ways. You can be critical. You can do content analysis. What are the hate speech in those things? What are those things that discourage Islam? What are those sentences that encourage Islam? This is content analysis. So you need to know how to get your data, observation, how to analyze your data. Number 2, you need to hear your voice. Please clap for her.
Islamic ethical themes in contemporary Muslim fiction. Their objective is to examine Islamic ethical themes in contemporary Muslim fiction, and their methodology is qualitative.
So, your methodology, which is quantitative, how do you get the data? How do you analyze the data?
Thank you very much. I think it's almost very the same. You can use ethnography, watch those movies, make comments, and you can use critical, you can use terminology, you can use content analysis. So number 3, code switching and Islamic expression in Muslim youth discourse on social media. What is code switching? Two languages, small Malayalam, small English, mixing it together. So, just like when I say, this laptop is not good, System Rozak. System Rozak. I don't want to say the name of the laptop in Mali. So, when you mix together, it's code switching. So, code switching and Islamic expression in Muslim youth discourse. We have that a lot with children. They mix it together because they have a lot of languages. What is the problem? There's a problem there. Because the problem is that it doesn't make them grounded in one language. And it makes them to lose a lot of their languages. Because sometimes, at a particular age, English will become part of their language you never knew. Today, in Malay language, a lot of Arabic terminologies because of past code switching. It has a benefit and it has disadvantage. So, what do you want to do about this problem? And how do you want to solve the problem? Number 3, we need to hear from you. Clap for her.
What is the objective?
So, for the objective is to examine how Islamic expressions is used in social media discourse to express how young youth basically express their cultures and also their identity online. So, for example, maybe how when we see the comments basically like how people would say certain things about themselves. So, for example, online, maybe a Muslim youth would say words like inshallah, like maybe when there's a comment or like, when there's a post about, for example, there's a post about like a something music related, like a concert or something, and then a friend of them tags them and it's like, hey, let's go to this concert. So they would say it like, oh, inshallah, sure. But in this context, to think about it, it's like they would use phrases. Sometimes there are also occasions where the friend that is mentioned, they might not be Muslim, so it may also be used among non-Muslims instead of just Muslims itself. So we can see how most Islamic terms has gotten its way into among non-Muslims as well. So
what is your objective? What do you want to do? If you accept this is a problem, what do you want to do as a researcher?
to identify the extent of Islamic terms in daily use.
That's good. So how do you want to do that? Your methodology.
Qualitative, and then the
Data collection, quantitative.
yeah, basic web scraping, like looking at comments and stuff, and then the analysis would be thematic analysis.
Thank you very much. Clap for her. So once you start seeing yourself being active in research, you love research, and research will also love you. Be part of it. So number 4, Islamic terminologies and its representation in Western media discourse. Number 4, where is she? I think she's there. Oh, here. Come. Clap for her. Okay. What is your objective? If you think this is a problem, and how to solve it?
For number 4, the objective is to examine the Islamic terminology and how it is represented in Western media discourse, and how the method for addressing the problem is qualitative method by doing
What is your objective again?
to examine the Islamic terminology and see how it is represented in the Western media discourse.
Example of something. Jihad. Good. So, qualitative. How do you want to get the data? How do you want to analyze?
For the examine the Islamic terminology, you need to do a research from getting data from library research and reading articles, and then to see how it is represented in the media, this Western media discourse is like watch or get how and observe how the Western media receive or interpret the Islamic terminology.
How do you analyze it? How do you analyze analysis in your methodology?
Qualitative.
Yeah. In qualitative data collection, you look at media, you get those things and put it down. That is collection. How do you analyze this?
Analyze.
Content analysis, thematic analysis, critical analysis, phenomenology analysis. Okay, thank you.
It's a good trial. Okay, so with this now you can read more to unravel some of the methodologies. Challenges in translating Islamic texts and concepts into English. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a challenge. Because we are Muslims, we use those terms, but how much are we? So it's a problem. So what's the objective in solving this problem?
You need to analyze your own data.
So you can use thematic, you can use critical analysis, you can use content analysis, you can use
chronological analysis, to analyze whatever the scholars have told you as a way to translate it into a guideline, a framework. So thank you.
So it was good and great, huh? The role of English in Islamic preaching. Do we have to take one or two more? Dr. Ruby? Okay. So after this, you go for lunch, huh? Sure. So the role of English in Islamic preaching dawah in digital age. Number 7. Thank you. Please clap for her.
Okay, so my topic is the role of English in Islamic preaching in the digital era. So my objective over here is there are two, to identify the advantages and challenges of using English for da'wah in a digital era, and third is to analyze the effectiveness of using this English-based content for reaching people around the world. So my methodology that I choose is qualitative. I will choose a specific Islamic preacher that maybe have lots of followers. For example, Mufti Man, but I cannot reach him. So maybe someone who is in Malaysia who is famous but using English. So and then after that, I will choose like the most popular video that he used. I will analyze that, like what theme that he's using for preaching, and then after that I might do an interview to him, like what are the challenges that you have been having so far, and what are the advantages that you get between saying something and preaching something in Malay and versus preaching in English. So from there I can get the advantages and the challenges, as well as the effectiveness.
So how do you analyze the data?
How do I analyze the data? I might do, I think it's thematic analysis. I'm not sure what it is. It's like making it into certain topic of what I am. For example, the topic that he's using, what are they? For his content, for example, okay, for Muslim youth, it's about marriage. Or for a certain adult, they're using mental health or something like that. So,
In your interview, because you mentioned like Mufti Men, it's not compulsory you can meet them face to face. Now today you can interview through WhatsApp, interview through email. Yes. I'm conducting an interview presently with one of my research assistants. We are doing it. Most of our respondents are giving response through email. It's acceptable. The only thing is that ethically you need to mention in your research that some of them face to face, some of them you respond to our email. So that can be fought back again and said, based on what you said, what do you think again? So you should be more flexible in order for you to get the data. So also, number 7, the colonial literary criticisms from an Islamic epistemological perspective. This is too long. And I hope, where is she? Or where is he? The blue or the brown? Brother, come. Okay. Oh, it's also my student. One of my students here. Good. I have a lot of students from DELL. And in all my classes, they are always the best. They are doing well. So DELL is good. Okay.
So my topic is the colonial literary criticism from an Islamic epistemological perspective. So the objective is to develop Islamic framework of literary analysis in a way of giving critiques through Islamic lens. And the method that I think would be the best is qualitative method, because this topic consists of lots of reading and analyzing, and even the word epistemological is quite complex. And I just googled it, and it means like basically knowledge. And how I'm going to analyze it, I will say like maybe choose a literary text and then compare it between how Western see it and how Islamic lens see it, and we can identify the pattern how it is.
That's very good. Comparative analysis.
It's also very good. So let's have number 8, reading post-colonial Muslim texts through the lens of Maqasid Sharia. Come. Who is the next person? Also my student. I have a lot of them in there.
Please clap for him.
So my topic is reading post-colonial Muslim texts through the lens of Maqasid al-Sharia. So my aim would be to examine how post-colonial Muslim literary texts maybe reflect, challenge, or interpret the Islamic ethical values by applying the framework of Maqasid al-Sharia. And the method would be qualitative. The data collection, I will select a few post-colonial Muslim literary texts and maybe novels, essays, or poems. And then the analysis method would be thematic analysis using the Maqasid al-Sharia framework.
Thank you. So can we have the last person?
Is the one laughing at me, huh? Sounds like my student. I have a lot of people there. So I'm happy I'm invited so that I can see the department. So the portrayal of Sharia in contemporary English fiction.
What is Sharia in that? What's your objective here?
So as for my objective, it is to examine how Sharia is portrayed in contemporary English literature, and also to analyze the accuracy and depth of this portrayal. So as for the approach, I choose qualitative approach, and for the data analysis, it is content analysis.
How do you get to that?
So for the data collection, I will select a few samples of contemporary English fiction from novels, short stories, and also plays.
Thank you.
So here, I would want to thank everybody for coming and for listening and for participating. So I hand over the mic to Dr. Ruby for the concluding part of this session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saheed. I hope it was very well. I hope all of you have benefited from such an engaging, right? No wonder he has a lot of students from there. So, Dr. Saheed, I just want, as a token of appreciation for you coming and exercising, so I just want to give you some token of appreciation here. Okay, give applause. All right, thank you so much. So I think that should wrap the whole session.